up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. That was during the 2 months of 2019 that I only flew Flight 1 and KISS. That's why there's so much bounce back and prop wash and mid-throttle oscillations. And that's also why it's overly sharp. All the stick inputs are like razor sharp, since you don't have things like feed forward or any of the other benefits of Betaflight over KISS. But it's interesting to see, how KISS flies in comparison to Betaflight. It's something that we've been over a million times. It's very well known. But hey, there you go. Today is something or other Sunday. What is it? Something Sunday? Sack Sunday? Sunday Q&A, mailbag unboxing, BQE Ripsqueak number 3, and I don't know, some other stuff. So let's dig into it. In the chat, Pile of Carbon was first, EBR FPV was next, Chris Mel, Alpha Sloth, Frank Nicholas, Scott RC Roscoe, Gillen, Dylan Merck, Charlie FPV, GMI Visuals, Jason, June Loco, T-Bird, Dogtanian, got it, Freelo Joe, Droney Droid, J Drones, Martin Wynn, Cool Cat, CH3 FPV, Mike Papano, Raccoon FPV, Quadzimoto, CMYK FPV, Gemfan Hobbies in the house. What's up, Gemfan? How are you? Athix FPV, Del Squacho, Charlie FPV, Pile of Carbon, Cool Cat, Ram Donko, Chris Young, Andrew Sturm, Recursive FPV. I'm going to leave it there. If you want the gangliest of ganglies to read your name, you got to come in early, you got to say something. If you want me to read your message, all you got to do is type my name, CiottiFPV, and it'll light up an orange, even if it's within a URL. If you just type Ciotti, you don't have to put the @ in front of it. But yeah, if you type CiottiFPV, it'll light up an orange. I'll know that you're talking to me, and I'll read your comment aloud, usually, and speak to it. T-Bird FPV did that first. He said, "What's up? I feel like I've been MIA. Good to have you back, brother." J Drone says, "Hi, dude." Quadzimoto says, "What's up, man?" CMYK says, "Yo, yo." Pile of Carbon says, "Hope you're doing well." I most certainly am. Scott Gillen says, "Let's all at 3:15 go outside and just rip the nuts off of our quads for 3 or 4 minutes." I'm down with that. Frank Nicholas dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. CH3FPV says, "In the bridge video, looks like you slowed your rates." Didn't really slow the rates, but yeah, it was KISS. They used a different rate profile. I was slowing the rates down to try to get the bounce back under control, because that's something that everything other than Betaflight has a really hard time with. And I hate the way bounce back looks. I think bounce back looks extremely unprofessional. You can fly around a lot of it, but by flying around bounce back, you literally stop doing certain camera moves. And for me, who'd been on Betaflight forever, I had all of these camera moves that I loved the look of. And then once I went to Flight 1 and KISS, I was not able to do that anymore. And that was really, like, in the grand scheme of things, there were all kinds of other problems with KISS and Flight 1 compared to Betaflight, but that was really the biggest one that was kind of a deal breaker for me. Like, I literally can't do these things. And again, that's a well-known thing. The other big, the big KISS pilot in Australia, who hasn't made a video in a while, I forget his name, but he made a video saying how to get rid of bounce back in KISS. And in the video, he goes, "Don't do movements that create bounce back." Like, don't snap don't do movements where the quad needs to snap to a stop. Do movements where the quad slowly stops, and you have to do it on the sticks. So I mean, it was a video saying fly around it, basically. And yeah, I mean, there's flight firmware, Betaflight, that has iTerm Relax that just crushes bounce back. So I'm gonna fly that flight firmware. Among other reasons. I mean, there's a million other reasons to choose Betaflight over Flight 1 and KISS. It's why, probably 90+% of pilots fly Betaflight. So, but hey, if you want to be different, there are some other options out there for you. But Betaflight's better. Like, it's just kind of a fact at this point. Like, there's been lots of data. UAV Tech has shown all of the data. lots and lots and lots of people. I mean, like, barely anybody flies anything other than Betaflight anymore. And, you know, like, you look at all the professional pilots and, like, they're all on Betaflight. So it's pretty obvious. But I'll get off that soapbox. Enrico FPV says, greetings from Germany. Like that BQE stuff. Already have 2 BOTAFXs. Very cool, Enrico. I guess it's Boda F. I don't know. I just pronounce the letters when I don't know how to pronounce things. GMI Visuals says, what are your thoughts on the sub 250 3.5 inch class of quads? In my opinion, sub 250 is a little bit too light for 3.5 inch. I have farted around with 3 inch and 3.5 inch quite a bit. 3.5 inch feels best up at like 280, 290, 300 grams all up weight. 3 inch feels best at 220 to 240 grams. I'm going to be pushing my 3 inch rigs right up to the limit of 250 grams to see if they're okay. I probably won't like them at 250. I've been down that road with the Acrobrat way back when. I was one of the very early Acrobrat prototype testers. We're talking like 2+ years ago, probably even farther back than that. And when my Acrobrats were at 250 grams, it was just a little bit too heavy. But back then, we didn't have motors that were as powerful as we do now. So there's a chance that at 250 grams with good power motors, 3 inch will be the jam. And when I say all this, what I'm getting at, and my sort of barometer of good versus bad versus whatever, is when I build a micro, I try to get it to perform as close as possible to the way that my 5 inch rigs perform. My 5 inch rigs are 600 to 620 grams, usually around 610, 605. That's the flight performance that I'm looking for. That's the amount of float that I'm looking for when you're off throttle inverted or nose down or on your side. And when a 3 inch rig was at 250, 260, 270 grams, what I notice is that when I'm doing that off throttle stuff and I'm not looking down at the ground, I would get caught out by hitting the ground earlier than I thought that I should. Our brain and our muscle memory sort of develops like, the right amount of float time. And when the weight, when you increase the weight but you don't increase the prop size, the amount of float that you get goes down. You've got more weight and less prop area. The prop area acts like a parachute. The propellers are always spinning, right? Air mode is always going on. So the propellers are always disturbing like a little column of air at the bottom of the rig, right? So you've got all 4 propellers and they're just sending a little column of air down here. So if you're upside down, there's still this area of disturbed air above and below it, actually. If you're nose down, same deal. So there's always this area of air that the quad is moving around. So as soon as you come off the throttle, all you've got is the weight of the rig to push it through the still air. But the size of the propellers is the size of the parachute because it's the size of the column of air that you're sort of disturbing on the rig itself. So as the propellers get bigger and the weight, if the weight doesn't change and the propellers get bigger, the size of the parachute increases, right? So you're not going to get as much throw, but it's going to drop slower. Bigger parachute, slower drop. If the weight, and vice versa, right? I don't need to explain that the other way. So your ratio of the weight of the rig to the size of the propellers is really important. That is kind of what I consider to be like the flight feel almost, although flight feel can cover a bunch of different things. But yeah, the way that I really notice it with the Acrobrats, I would be hitting the ground a lot when they were 260, 270, 280 grams. And that's not what I want. I want the micros to fly as close as possible to the 5 inch rig so that I don't have to, okay, I'm flying the micro now, let me change everything, right? I want my muscle memory to be as close as possible between all of the different rigs. So yeah, in my experience, the 3.5 inch rigs at 250 grams, they fly more like a toothpick. where it's super floaty. I end up like waiting for it to come down. Like I'm literally just like, come on, come back down to the ground. You know, it's fun to fling these things up in the sky, but after you've done that a couple thousand times, it's kind of like, all right, well, it's the same thing every time. I go flying up into the sky, I look down, I wait. So I want the rigs to come down at a certain rate, and it kind of balances out. It just gives you more of like a balanced flight experience, where they go up at a speed, they come down at somewhat the same speed, and it just adds to kind of the flow of your flying. So yeah, 3.5 inch in my experience is really nice at like 280, 290, 300 grams, but down at 250 grams, it's just a little bit too light for 3.5 inch propellers. That kind of goes against the chart that Chris Rosser made, which is a great chart. I think there's a lot of validity to that chart, but there are so many variables with these rigs that we're flying. Once you get them up in the air, like, that's really the thing that matters the most. And I've put hundreds of batteries through these things, if not thousands of batteries through 3 inch, 3.5 inch rigs to really kind of figure this out. And, you know, smacking into the ground when I don't expect it over and over and over again, like, I can't ignore that. I can't ignore that and just go, well, the chart says otherwise, right? If when I look at my flight footage, if my flying looks better, and if when I'm in the goggles I feel more comfortable, that's all that matters, right? Like, I'm not, like, I don't have a reason to lie about this, right? Like, I'm just, I don't care. You know, I don't have like I didn't like say at one point like, oh, this is the way it should be done, and now I'm like holding on to that so I don't look like an asshole. I don't care. I always look like an asshole. What's the difference? So yeah, and I try really hard to separate placebo out from what's actually happening with these things in the air, because again, all I care about is having rigs that fly as dialed in as possible and allow me to not adjust my muscle memory every time. So yeah, and I think you guys should too, right? Because if you're gonna have multiple rigs, if you're gonna have a Cinewhoop, a 3 inch freestyle rig, a 5 inch freestyle rig, a 7 inch whatever, it makes an awful lot of sense if you want to not crash as often and you want to just fly better and make better footage, right? It makes a lot of sense to try to get all those rigs equalized so there's as little of adjustment as possible. So yeah, there you go. Long answer to a short question. Good question though, GMI Visuals. Raccoon FPV says, I got to try some 5143.3 GemFan props and it's my new go-to prop after trying different props. Me too, Raccoon. I hit onto the 5143.3s about a year ago, I guess. Jamie Ann actually gave me a set or two when we were going up to Tennessee for the Tiny Whoop race, I guess it was. And I was hooked, man. They're the best combination that I've found of power, durability, lightweight. They just, like, you know, there are props that are lighter. There are props that make more thrust. There are props that are more durable. There are props that are less durable, make less, right? The 5143.3 is just like the best balance of all of those things, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions. I feel like more people are flying 5143.3s than not, in terms of like pro, you know, high level 5 inch freestyle pilots. So yeah, they're really, really good. Apone says, I run 25-degree up tilt on my 5 inch, and if I change it, power loops become very hard. Do you always run a consistent camera angle? Absolutely, Apone. It is really important to lock your camera angle on all your rigs and just always keep it the same. And it makes the biggest difference during power loops, also Matty flips. But yeah, you really notice it in power loops. Basically, when you're doing a power loop, typically you're waiting for your view to be completely the sky before you really hammer the throttle to send yourself backwards. And if the camera up tilt is different, then the point when you're pulling back on pitch, the point where your view becomes all sky is going to be different. So if that point is different and you hammer the throttle, it's either going to send you up too much or it's going to send you back too much. So yeah, it's really, really important to try to get the exact same up tilt on all of your rigs. Other than Cinewhoops. Unfortunately, you can't do that on Cinewhoops. You want to be down at like 5 degrees or 10 degrees on a Cinewhoop just because you want to be able to crawl that damn thing around and sometimes even fly it backwards. But yeah, freestyle rigs, really, really important. Set your up tilt the same on all of them. And leave it alone. Don't have different rigs with different up tilts. It's going to totally fuck up any moves that you do on the pitch axis, basically. And Rigo says, yes, it's Bach Grinder's 5-inch frame. Got it. Very cool. License to Drive says, you've seen Flow State. What happens in the second half? I saw it last night, but don't remember a lot of it. I wasn't drunk or anything. I heard another pilot said the same today. Oh, man. I mean, it's the second half of the movie. I don't know what to... I don't know how to answer that. I don't necessarily know if I remember either. I saw it originally at Rampage in its original 3-part version, which is probably what will hit Netflix and maybe Hulu eventually. James recut the film into 2 parts for the private screening here in Atlanta, and it was very different. It was very different. So I guess it doesn't necessarily matter really what happens in the second half because nobody's ever going to see that again, I don't think. Unless he maybe comes out with like a Blu-ray. I would love for him to come out with a Blu-ray of it, cut up into the 2 parts. But yeah, I don't know how to answer that. It's just, yeah, more stuff. More stuff. I mean, James did such a good job covering FPV top to bottom that like whatever wasn't in the first half is in the second half, you know? I think Cinewhoop stuff is in the second half. More of the protest stuff is in the second half. More personalities are in the second half. I mean, he did such a good job at linking up with all of the really well-known pilots and just showing tons of amazing flight footage. You guys are going to love it if you haven't seen it yet. Be patient. It's going to take some time for it to come out because it's got to go around to the festivals. But that's a good thing. We want it to go around to the festivals, guys, right? We don't want him to just say fuck it all and just try to get it on Amazon or Netflix or Hulu because then it won't. Him shopping it around to the festivals is the only way that it'll get enough notoriety to hit any of the major platforms where we can enjoy it and tell our friends and tell everybody that's like, what the fuck do you do again? Like, hey, here, watch this. You'll love it. GMI Visuals says, hold on, let me shell for a second. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to see me keep going, I need everybody to do a little something. Maybe that's hanging out here. Maybe that's clicking the thumbs up or subscribing or the bell or whatever you want to do here on YouTube. If you want to be a super rock star and really help me out, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Patreon helps me out the most. You can join my Patreon for as little as $3 a month. That's 10 cents a day. I do like 10 plus hours of streaming a week. It's a pretty good deal. There's a whole bunch of other really cool shit over on Patreon, audio versions of all these live streams so that you don't have to look at my big dumb face for 2 hours a day. Technical articles that I've written about the easy way to PID tune, the easy way to filter tune, troubleshooting motor noise and hot motors or not motor noise, video noise, hot motors, all kinds of good stuff. You're going to get access to the Discord server with all of these beautiful bastards here in the chat hanging out. Lots and lots of good stuff going over on Patreon, and it's the closest thing that I have to a paycheck, and it's really the reason why I continue to do these live streams. So if you like these live streams, if you like my edits as well, Patreon is what allows me to do that stuff. So jump over there and join. There's also, you can get in on bi-weekly giveaways over there. It's not the $3 tier, but the more expensive tiers, $5, $10, $20 a month. Those will get you into giveaways that I do every other Monday. The giveaways usually range from $50 to $100 worth of stuff. So it's a pretty good deal. $5, $10 a month, you're going to get a bunch of months, and then hopefully you'll win and you'll break even. So yeah, head on over to Patreon for all that good stuff. Here's my YouTube and my Instagram links. Etsy, there's some cool stuff. Fiverr, Teespring for t-shirts, FPV Exchange. We're going to look at those in a second. Here are all of my affiliate links. If you want to just change, if you use bookmarks and you change your bookmarks to any of these websites with my affiliate links, you won't have to worry about remembering. But if you don't use bookmarks like me, if you remember to hit one of these affiliate links to these websites before you check out, I'll get 1 to 6% of your entire shopping cart FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God Site, FPV Crate, Banggood, and Camera Butter, and AliExpress. Those are all the sites I have affiliate links. It's free money, and it means a lot. It really helps me kind of keep going here. Link to my PayPal if you don't want, if you want to do a super chat, but you don't want YouTube to take 30%. I'm fine with them taking 30%, but if you don't, that's cool. Facebook page for CiottiFPV, FPV Therapy, which is an awesome little group on Facebook. A bunch of us that have mental illness issues that are struggling our asses off are over there sharing our stories, doing whatever we need to do to just make it through each and every day. I invite you to come on over and learn a little something. 1 in 5 people, I think 1 in 2 people, to be honest, struggle with mental illness. So come on over, learn something, and you might learn something about yourself, or maybe a friend or a family member that you get mad when they cancel plans on you. Might kind of explain it. Here's a link to the Discord. You'll get the full access to Discord with Patreon, and then some BattleBots info if you need a good laugh. Here's the Etsy store, some really fun stickers and some random hardware. Here's the Fiverr page. I'm doing flight instruction. If you want to fly like I was flying in the intro, I can help you out with that. We do it virtually, so it doesn't matter if you're in Bangalore. I can hook that up for you. Tuning, if you like the way that my tunes fly on Betaflight, not on Kiss or Flight 1, they're untunable. And then this is build planning here. If you're sick of buying parts that blow up, if you're sick of your rig not flying exactly the way you want it to, a lot of times that's down to the part selection. The most important thing that you can do on a rig is pick the right parts that are going to fly the way that you want it to. And then I'm also pimping out Remy Tim for his FPV mentoring. If you have any technical questions, he can help you out. And Finn FPV if you need any video editing. Here's the Teespring store. CMYK FPV did this beautiful Kill All carbon artwork. I've got it on a t-shirt. We've got it on a tote bag here as well. And then all the OG artwork. Clam Man, remind you to never give up. Here's the NASA ripoff logo. The Collective, all kinds of good stuff going on. Nut Grabber, you know you want yourself a Nut Grabber t-shirt so that all your friends will be confused. FPV Exchange is a beautiful website. This is your chance to actually find things in stock. FPV Exchange pulls in each individual item in FPV, every single website that sells it. So if you're having trouble finding Crossfire Nanos in stock or something like that, if you search for that item on FPV Exchange, it'll show you every single website that sells it, and the price, and it'll show you if anybody is selling them used, which is my favorite part of FPV Exchange. I have everything I've ever bought in there because it allows you to automatically import them from all the different websites real easily, and then you just click a button if you want to sell it, and you're on the same page as RDQ and Get FPV and PyroDrone. So yeah, head over to FPV Exchange. They're a huge supporter of me and this channel and FPV in general. Show them some love, sign up, start using it. You're gonna love my nuts. GMI Visuals says, so for those new to the hobby who've never flown 5-inch but want to keep sub 250, you'd recommend a 3-inch around 220 all-up weight. What battery size? The new GNB 4S 700 mAh battery is brilliant. I'm personally moving up to 4S 850s because I want to push the limits of the weight. But I think that the GNB yellow 4S 700 is probably about as good as it's going to get. I have a feeling I'm going to end up settling on that battery, but I'm really hoping I can make the 850s work because I use the 4S 850s on my Cinewhoops. I get a little over 5 minutes on the Cinewhoops with 4S 850s, so I would love to just have like 20 of those 4S 850s that I run on the freestyle rigs and on the Cinewhoops. J Drone says, have you had your hands on the TMotor F20 V2s? If so, are they Nachi? I have not. I don't know, Jay. Anybody in the chat have the V2 of the TMotor F20s that can help us out? Let us know if they're Kagi. Borked with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Borked. He says, next step, whoops to outside 5-inch need prop guards. Mom 70 plus years old and hybrid 3-inch RTF recommendation or a hybrid cam I can put in self-build. Wait, what? Next step, whoops to outside 5-inch. So does that, Bork, does that mean you're about to build a 5-inch rig for outside? So then he says need prop guards. prop guards on a 5-inch rig, in my opinion, don't make any sense because they're nowhere near strong enough to survive anything. So I don't really understand. I've seen a bunch of people doing the prop guard on 5-inch rig thing, and and I've asked them, like, hey, how do they crash? And they're like, well, they explode. And so I'm kind of like, well, then why are you running them? like the whole point of prop guards is that when you crash, they'll do something, but they don't. So I don't really, yeah, the prop guards on a 5-inch thing doesn't make any sense to me. But if you want the illusion of protection, or I guess if you're just gonna like maybe just barely bump into something, I guess they could maybe help. And then Bork says, need prop guards end hybrid, period. 3-inch ready to fly recommendation. Unfortunately, I can't help with that. I don't know any of the ready to flies. None of the ready to flies that I've ever seen and have continued to see have a good combination of frame design and motor selection. So basically, like, for me, a ready to fly means you buy it and then you take the motors off or you take the frame off and you swap it, at which point just build it yourself with the right parts, right? So yeah, I'm really, I've still yet to see a ready to fly that is anywhere near as good as just building one yourself with the right parts. Also, like, yeah, okay, you save the initial few hours of build time, but then you're just going to crash it anyway and have to fix it. And so you might as well have just built it in the first place, because then you're going to be quicker at fixing it and you're going to be also quicker at troubleshooting it. So the ready to fly thing is kind of not my deal. The biggest problem that I have with ready to flies, though, is that they never have a good set of motors on them. If they do have a good set of motors on them, the frame is shit. And yeah, I mean, that's like a deal breaker. Like, just build it yourself. And you'll have something that's a lot better. It crashes better, flies better. Yeah. And then Bork says, or a hybrid cam I can put in self-build. So by hybrid cam, are you referring to like the RunCam Hybrid, for example, which has like an FPV and a separate HD? If so, RunCam Hybrid is the only one that you want to be thinking about. The Caddx Tarsier is the only other one that exists, and it's just a nightmare. Usability-wise, it's just a disaster. It also doesn't get as good HD as the RunCam Hybrid. So I hope I answered some of those questions properly for you. If not, just tag me and I'll yeah, hook you up. Wait, Bork's right below that super chat says, don't fly well enough to strap $200 onto a $200 quad. Okay, sure. So yeah, RunCam Hybrid is what you want, Borked. License to Drive says it felt more like a documentary for non-FPV pilots than something for FPV pilots. That's because it's exactly what it is, which I guess was the goal. Yep, totally. Frank Nicola, because, you know, if he made a documentary for FPV pilots, then, you know what, the 1,000 of us that exist in the world would watch it, and that would be it. You know, James poured 3 years of his life, and God knows how much money into this thing. The only possible way for him to not be homeless at the end of it is for him to make it for the general public so that it can, you know, have a shot at getting onto Netflix or Hulu or whatever. You know, that's what James does for a living, like literally, like he's a documentarian. So unless we're all willing to send him $1,000 each or whatever, yeah, he can't eat. So, Frank Nicholas dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up. Come on, YouTube. Why you gotta do the thing so often? There we go. GMI Visual says, thank you very much. You're certainly welcome. Gem Fan Hobby mentioning OnlyFans. Borked with another $5 super chat. Thanks, you brother. He says I don't know what that word is. Rheinhafens. The Rheinhafens built built hybrid cam with prop guards observer is afraid of open props, just learning. The Rheinhafenz. So it sounds like this, I guess Rheinhafenz is a company? It sounds like a company named Rheinhafenz has built a hybrid cam. I'm not seeing Rheinhafenz here on YouTube though. Not YouTube, on Google. Here's Rheinhausen. Is that the name of the company maybe? I doubt it. No. The Rheinhafenz built hybrid cam with prop guards. Observer is afraid of open props, just learning. I'm sorry, Borgt. I don't I can't make hide nor hair of any of that super chat. Tag me and I'll try my best. Sorry, brother. Ramdongo says, Run Cam Hybrid come with any ready to fly? Seen it on a 4-inch Gep RC, I think. It's a good question. I don't pay much attention to the ready to flies other than I look at the frame design, I look at the motor design, I'm completely disgusted by one or the other, and I move on. So I don't know if the Run Cam Hybrid is in any of the ready to flies. Hey, here's Borked. Drunk voice to text sucks. Okay. He says, yeah, hybrid cam ready to fly 3-inch prop guards. Super chat, drunk is expensive. Yes, hybrid cam ready to fly 3-inch prop guards. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can't recommend any ready to flies. They all just have too many sacrifices. And it's gonna blow up. Like you're gonna break it anyway. So it just doesn't make any sense to me to build like if the bind and flies weren't gonna break, right? If our rigs were indestructible, let's say, then a bind and fly would make sense because you could not learn how to build, you could buy it and then just fly it, right? But that's not how it is. Like as soon as you start flying, you start crashing, and especially with micros, they blow up very quickly, and then you have to work on them. So you might as well have worked on it in the first place, and by working on it in the first place and custom building it, you get to pick a good set of motors, a good frame, and then not only is it going to fly better, but it's going to crash better, right? So that's kind of the other thing. It'll come out in the wash. Like, yeah, you're going to spend the 3, 4, 5, 6 hours up front building it, but then it's going to crash better, so you're going to spend a lot less time down the road fixing it. So you're literally going to put less time into the repair side. If you don't want to learn how to build or repair, I don't think this is the hobby for you. Like I that sounds harsh, right? But like it's a huge part of the hobby. Like to get into this hobby and think like, oh, I'll just buy bind and flies and like have somebody else fix them, or I just won't crash. To me, that's not realistic. Our gear is just not durable enough, and they're just too hard to fly. Everybody that I've ever run into that's gone down that road of, oh, I'm just gonna buy bind and flies, and when they eventually break, I'll buy another one. Those people last about 2 months in the hobby, if not 2 weeks. So yeah, I just don't. The bind and fly thing just really doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, I just none of the companies send me them for free, and I'm certainly not gonna. I mean, I can't afford to buy any of these things. But even if I could, I mean, all my reviews would be is like, hey, here's all the things that are dog shit about this. Build from scratch. You'll have a better flying rig. So yeah, those are probably not the answers that you want to hear, but I think that those are the answers that you need to hear, if that makes sense. If you're not willing to build and repair, FPV is going to be a rough time. It's going to be a really rough experience for you. Luckily, there's a shitload of resources. Me, Joshua Bardwell, a bunch of other guys that here on YouTube have everything you could ever need to know, especially now in 2021, about how to build these things, how to repair them, all that good stuff. So I know the process of doing a scratch build is very daunting, but every single one of us that are in the hobby for more than a couple of months have done that, and most of us had no experience with it starting off. I had no RC experience other than when I was like 3 years old, and my dad built a couple RC cars for us, RC10, JRX2, JRX-T from Team Losi. RC10 was from Team Associated, I believe. So yeah, you just gotta. I know it sucks. I hate it. It's the worst part of the hobby for me. I guess it's not a hobby for me anymore. It's a career. It's the worst part of it for me, but it's a necessary evil, and it's so much fun to fly a rig that's built properly with the right parts that it's well worth it. Bork says, pretty sure I learned to solder before you were born. Nice. I was born in 81. How old are you? Bork must be in like his 60s, I guess. Unless he learned to solder when he was 10 years old. Ramdanko, wait, no, we got that. Or did we? Yeah, we got that. Ramdanko says, do a shot? No. I'll get a stomach ache. License to Drive says, I agree on the footage in flow state. It was top-notch stuff that should wow people who don't know what FPV is. Yeah, for sure. Hot Point Hoodlum says, so we meet again. What's up, brother? Dylan Merck says, I'm deaded. Cool. I'm caught up. So, guess what time guess what that means. Oh, sorry guys. How nobody called me out on it? What the fuck? You guys always annihilate me when I forget this. Damn, you fuckers are slipping. What's going on, chat? You're slipping, man. You guys gotta have my back. Here's the shirt of the day. This is the OG Rampage shirt. Oh God. Okay, there we go. Chris Young says, I've been soldering since I was 15. I'm 63 now. Nice. Bork says, born in 70, learned how to solder when I was 10. Nice. Love it. All right, cool. So now that that's turned on, it's time for... That was shamelessly stolen from Mighty Car Mods here on YouTube. Go subscribe to their channel if you have any interest in cars or just good shows here on YouTube. They're amazing. It's one of my favorite channels, if not my favorite channel here on YouTube. Mighty Car Mods, guys, I love you. If you're watching this, you're not. But if you ever are, please don't sue me. This is a box from Newbie Drone. Look at this. This is the Cockroach 75 frame, but in black. I finally have the Cinematic 75 Insta360 Go carrier all locked in, but it's on the clear frame, and I prefer the black frame. In the bottom of the every once in a while when flow state is really working hard, and I slow the thing down, the frame will come into view on the very bottom. And the clear frame is like, it ends up being like very white, which is much more distracting than when it's just a little black line down the bottom. So yeah, I'm gonna move that over to this black frame, which is gonna be annoying because I might have to, I'm gonna have to desolder the motors. Well, so I'll move it over to this frame when I change the motors out, because right now it's got those TMotor 0803 prototypes that they sent me, but the magnet ring keeps dropping on one of them. So at some point, when I can get my hands on another 20,000 or 22,000 kV 0803, I'll swap that thing over, and that's when, and I'll have to desolder the motors to get them through the frame. And so that's when I'll switch it over to the black frame. Hopefully I remember. There's a really good chance that I won't. I leave it up to you. Chat, I need you to remind me. When I switch the motors on the 75mm Tiny Whoop, I need you guys to remember to tell me to swap the frame. Oddly enough, somebody will remember, because, you know, 500 to 1,000 people will watch this, and one of you guys will, like... One of you guys has a much more beautiful mind than I do, and you'll definitely remember. Hot Point Hoodlum says we need a frame called the Flat Shark. Nice. This is a Vi-Fly Short Saver 2. If you have any other smoke stopper, throw it away and buy this one. Or join my Patreon on the $5, $10, $20 tiers, and you'll be entered to win one of these guys. Every single order that I do, I order one of these Vi-Fly V2 short savers because they're just that good, and I always throw them into the giveaways. This also has an on-off switch for your quad, which, when you're doing stuff on the bench, is really, really nice. If you don't have one of these, I shit you not, get one. Like, just get one. This like $12 thing will save you a $40, $50, $60, $80 ESC or flight controller or God knows what else. This is a must-have item in your life if you're going to be building, or even not even just building, just having quads. They sent me a what's this called? Lintless cloth is what this is called, right? That's pretty cool of them. I did not order that. I wonder what I put in the... Ooh, they've got a new sticker sheet. Look at that. That's a cool looking sticker sheet right there. That's new. I've not seen this before. And as you can kind of see, it's matte. It's a matte sticker sheet. Logitech ain't gonna focus because it's a donkey raping shit eater. Are these die cut? These better be die... Yeah, they are. They're die cut. Alright, cool. I'm going to throw that out there because I have all of my FPV stickers out in the living room at the moment. This is a GNB 4S850. What I basically do is every time I do an order, I throw in 1 or 2 batteries, and right now I'm trying to get loaded up on Cinewhoop batteries. I'm doing a lot of Cinewhoop flying. So I'm trying to get loaded up on 4S850s. I'm also trying to compare 4S850s to figure out which one I like the best. They all weigh pretty much the same. 4S850s are in this weird... Like, usually, Tattoo R lines are the lightest, GNBs are a little bit heavier, China Hobby lines are a little bit heavier. In this case, the GNB weighs exactly what the Tattoo R line weighs, and then the... well, not exactly, but I think that they're like a gram off. And then the China Hobby line does weigh a little bit more, but it doesn't weigh that much more. Let me actually check myself on that, because it's just weird that... Yeah, let me just check myself on that. Hold on. Where the fuck? Hold on, please. Coming back. Come back, I swear. Here's the Tattoo R line. I'm also testing out these Beta FPV. There's these Beta FPV 4S850s. So yeah. Dylan Merck says, do you have a vid with your current favorite Cinewhoop parts? I do. If you go to my my channel here and go to videos, there's a little search function at the top of videos that'll only search my videos. Type Cinesplore, Cinesplore. It's the FPV cycle Cinewhoop. I've got a ton of these live streams where I've worked on the Cinesplore and talked about all the parts. 102 grams for the GNB. 99.8, 100 grams for the Tattoo R line. A 2 gram difference is nothing. And then 108 grams for the Beta FPV 4S850. Beta FPV doesn't make batteries. This is more than likely a GNB battery. Maybe not. Maybe it's a Tattoo R line. This one is a little heavier because it's got the XT60 on it. What's interesting is, well, it's a little bit fatter. Yeah, I don't know who they're having make this battery for them, but it performs pretty well. I've flown these a bunch, and they've performed really, really well. So yeah, for whatever reason, 4S850s are all right around 100 grams. So yeah, there's that. Ah! Just wanted to give you guys something to listen to while I ran back. So yeah, another 4S850, which is nice. The big exciting thing in this box, though, nice. Rotor Jess wrote on here in highlighter, slay it. The big fun thing in here is 5 Axis 2306s. Newbie Drone is the only US reseller that has the Axis 2306s in stock. If you didn't know, Axis is Axis Flying is a motor company that was created from a couple folks that left TMotor. TMotor is my current favorite motor manufacturer. Their F40 Pro 4s are brilliant, best 5-inch motor, in my opinion. And they've got TMotor has a bunch of other really good motors, but I really like their F40 Pro 4 the most. Axis is now making a 2306, and I really like the Axis 2004s. I have the Axis 2004s on my backup Cinewoop. So I wanted to try their 2306s. I haven't tried a different 2306 in a long time because... Oh, do they really? Big FPV? Big FPV says RDQ has them as well. That's very cool. Yeah. I haven't really tried any other 2306s because they're all heavy. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a weight on these axes. I couldn't get a straight, like, with or without cable weight on these motors, so I just said to hell with it. Let me try them. If they're a little bit heavier, I will still fly them and see if maybe... I don't know. I played around with heavy motors versus light motors a long time ago, and the flight feel with lightweight motors is just light years better, as is the prop wash handling and the bounce back and just everything. Everything is better with lighter weight motors in terms of flight performance. But it's been a long time since I tried that, so I figured what the hell. I got them. I already, as you can see, I already opened this up and I cut the wires down to the same length as the F40 Pro 4. And unfortunately, these guys are 1.6 grams heavier, 1.5 or 1.6 grams heavier. And that's a lot because we're talking about 29 point something grams versus 30 point something grams. So I'm not thrilled about that. I will more than likely stay with the F40 Pro 4s, just because 1.5-ish grams is a big difference out on the end of the arm, right? Like 1.5 grams times 4, I mean, that, you know, that's a big difference too, right? That's a 6 gram increase in the total weight of the rig. But I can overlook that. I can overlook a net, you know, all up weight increase of 6 grams. What I can't overlook, though, is adding 1.5 grams all the way out on the end of the arms. And if you haven't heard me talk about this before, why that matters so much is that the farther out you put weight, the harder it is going to be to move that weight on the yaw axis, on the pitch axis, and on the roll axis, which is everything that we do, right? So every single time we move the stick for pitch, yaw, or roll, it's going to react more slowly, and it's going to carry more momentum. And those two things are bad. Specifically carrying more momentum, because the more momentum it's carrying, the harder it's going to be to stop it. And that's going to create bounce back and a host of other issues. You know, when you're in prop wash, it's going to have more momentum on each swing. So yeah, I was really hoping that these would be as light as the Pro 4s. I was really hoping that if they were heavier, they would only be like half a gram heavier or like a gram heavier. But 1.5 grams on the end of the arm, on the end of each arm, I'm not digging that. But I am going to put them onto a rig. I am going to bash the shit out of them, see how they hold up from a durability standpoint. Maybe they're crazy durable. And if that's the case, there's a chance that I'll be willing to sacrifice flight performance for durability. Durability and flight performance are like at the top of the list of things that matter most to me when it comes to motors and frames and propellers and, you know, everything that we put into these rigs. So I don't know. We'll see. Axis does a really interesting little thing with their motor bell, which I do like. I'm going to try to show this to you guys. So they put like a little lip on the... see that? See that little lip there above the bearing? I like that. I really like that they do that. Whether or not it'll do anything, I have no idea. But the theory behind it is sound. And then here's what the motor bell looks like. See the lip kind of goes in there in the motor bell. And then they use the standard little trick of a Teflon O-ring and a little washer above and below it, which is, you know, everybody's doing that now. So that's not really nothing to write home about. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I gotta be honest here. I can all but guarantee that the weight increase is going to be a deal breaker for me. If you haven't, here's a really good. If you really want to get an idea of what that does, you should all do this. Get the Rotor Riot skids, the little plastic Rotor Riot skids. Those are 2.5 grams each. Put those on your 5-inch rig. Fly it. Put a bunch of batteries through it. Land it as quickly as you can. Remove those. And fly another battery or two. You will not believe the difference. Those are 2.5 grams. This is only a 1.5 gram weight increase. But you will not believe the difference in flight feel and just flight dynamics between removing 2.5 grams from the end of the arms. What I will say about these Axis, they call them 236s. They just dropped the 0. What I will say about these is these are lighter than most of the other 2306s. Most of the other 2306s are another gram heavier than these. So if for some reason you don't like the TMotor F40 Pro 4s, this would be the next lightest motor, I believe. Don't quote me on that, because I haven't looked at all of the 2306s, like, you know, super recently. But last time I remember looking at 2306s, they were all 2.5 to 3 grams heavier than the F40 Pro 4s. So yeah, there you go. Dylan Merck says, got it, cheers, brother. Let me know if you have any questions, Dylan. Ramdonko says, Dylan, here, just to save you a minute, the only things that really make any difference on the way that a rig flies are the motors and the props and the frame. Cinesplore frame, D76 Gemfan 5-blade propellers, Axis 2004 motors in the highest KV that they make. that's how you build a Cinewhoop that performs as good as mine. Also, do a 20x20 stack. Don't do an AIO. AIOs are the worst. They will wreck the flight performance of anything you put them on, and they'll catch on fire. They're awful. Do a 20x20 stack. Ramdonko says, used to take my stuff to a phone repair shop for soldering jobs before I got an iron, almost back to his level. Nice. I can't imagine taking a soldering iron to a phone. That's nuts. Mikhail, I'm not going to massacre your last name. He says, do you have a dream quad like gamers have a dream PC? I do. It's my glides. I've spent countless hours and an unbelievable amount of effort refining each and every part that goes into these glides. And yeah, they're as perfect and as dreamy as I can dream, cook up. There's really like the glide frame is the best frame I've found. Like there's stuff that's more expensive, but it's not better. I've managed to find the different parts and pieces that like with the glide builds, they're money no objects, and it kind of stands to reason that most builds should be like that, because there's really not that much of a gap in price. When you start talking about like KISS electronics and stuff like that, like yeah, there's a big gap in price, but fortunately they fly worse, so there's no reason to buy them. When we're talking about Betaflight, like the most premium possible build is going to be like $350, maybe $400, and then like a mid-level build with all parts that flies exactly the same, if not better, is going to be like $300. So yeah, there's really no reason to just buy all the most expensive stuff, because the most expensive stuff, the way what I do on Fiverr for build planning, for like 10 minutes I hammer people with questions. Where do they fly? Who do they want to fly like? What do they do with their footage? I have a whole big list of questions. Those questions are how I can figure out which specific parts and pieces are going to be the best for that person. Which frame is going to be the best? Which motors? Which battery? Which camera? Which VTX? Which stack? There's really no benefit in just buying the most expensive stuff in this hobby. It's all about buying the right stuff for the way that you want to fly, or what you're doing with your footage, or any of these other different things. So, there's not, in my opinion at least, in my experience, there's not like a dream quad. There's not like one rig that's like way expensive that's way better. My really inexpensive, all things considered, Betaflight rigs fly way, 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 way better than like an Apex with all the fanciest KISS, stupidly expensive electronics. They handle prop wash, but these rigs handle prop wash better. They don't bounce back. These are all problems because of KISS, right? But it sort of stands to reason that, you guys know where I'm going with that. Ramdonko says, so motor and prop weight improve performance like wheel weight to a car. Absolutely, Ram. Absolutely. But if you want to, no, you can actually, there's a double comparison there. So decreasing the weight of the wheels and tires, there are tires that are lighter weight. That's something that we got into towards the end of autocross, is that we would, there were certain tires that were lighter weight, and also you can shave down, like the really hot setup in autocross is to get a fresh set of tires and shave most of the rubber off of them so that you have very little tread depth. It reduces the weight of the tire. It also reduces the height of the tread block, so it's less squishy, it's less squirmy. Reducing the weight of the wheel and tire package does two things. It speeds up and slows down more easily. So when you accelerate and when you brake, it's going to accelerate a little quicker, brake a little bit more violently. But also, it reduces the unsprung weight on the end of the A-arms. So when you hit a bump, when you've got less weight, the wheel and tire is going to be able to go up and down quicker over that bump. Whereas if it's heavier and you hit a bump, it's going to transmit more of that energy into the chassis because the wheel and tire aren't going to be able to move up and down fast enough. So those two things are 1-to-1 with quads. From an acceleration and a deceleration standpoint, the lighter the motor bell and propeller, the quicker the motor is going to be able to spin up or slow down the propeller. And that's what the error correction is doing. Error correction is what the PID loop is. So the PID loop is literally going to work better with a lighter weight propeller and motor bell. But then also, dynamically, when the quad moves around, when it rolls, pitches, and yaws, in the same way that the A-arm moves up and down, it's going to do the same thing, right? The A-arm on the car is going to move up and down quicker when there's less weight. With less weight on the ends of the arms, the ends of the rig is going to be able to accelerate and decelerate quicker, right? At the beginning and the end of moves. So yeah, that's actually a perfect analogy. When I first read that analogy, I was going to say like, oh, it only applies in one way or the other, but no, it actually applies in both ways. Both advantages of a lightweight wheel and tire package on a car are damn near 1-to-1 with these rigs. So for anybody wondering, I previous to FPV, I was into cars for about 15 years. It turned from street racing to drag racing to autocross to track days. In autocross, I became an instructor for 1 million years, driver of the year, all kinds of shit. I was super as into FPV as I am. I was way more into autocross, if you can believe it. It was yeah. It's a good way to spend a lot of money. Dylan Merck says, thank you, sir. You're certainly welcome. P. Richard Scott is in the house. He says, I heard the AOS 5 was pretty tits. AOS 5 is AOS 5 is great. Patrick, where are you, by the way? Weren't you gonna do a guest appearance here today? Or was that tomorrow? I don't remember. Oh, fuck. I forgot about the other half of the unboxing. All right, I'll do the other half of the unboxing in a second. Some of you guys that follow me on Instagram already know what this is going to be, but AOS 5 is amazing in terms of black box performance, which is basically vibration resistance. Is I guess what we have to call it, right? Vibration, yeah, vibration resistance, I guess. I don't know what to call it, but a black box log from an AOS 5 versus any other frame is going to be cleaner. And that's great. That's specifically great for people who all they care about is pushing the PID tune to the absolute bitter limit of what's possible. That's not me. I crash, I bang props up, I run motors that are fucked up because I crash a lot and I fly really hard. So for me, the way that a frame crashes is the most important thing. And the one big design choice of the AOS 5 in order to mitigate frame resonance and vibrations is that they went to a double arm design. It's an A-arm, basically. Instead of one big, thick single arm, they've got two thinner arms. And unfortunately, when you start crashing into shit, especially like when you start center punching poles, this is the same design as the Acrobrat. And the reason that I'm no longer flying Acrobrats is that when you start banging into stuff in the center of the rig, having two skinny arms is like half the strength. When you put a piece of metal or a curb or a sign or anything into that front arm, and it's just going to break the front of the A-arm. Also, the AOS 5 has a fixed build height, which I really don't like. The glide frame is just a standard school bus style 8 standoff frame with no vertical carbon, so you can run 15 millimeter standoffs like me, or 20 millimeter standoffs, or 23 or 30. There's a lot of build adjustability there with that. So for me, the AOS 5, just like the Prototype 5 from FPV Cycle, it's not the frame for me. I have a different set of needs. So yeah, it's just not the it's not the frame for me. It's a great frame though. I mean, if you're looking to, if you don't crash much, and if the juice for you is pushing your PID tune absolutely as far as it can possibly go, there's no frame that's going to do that better than the AOS 5. But I don't think many of you guys are like that, right? Like, I think a lot of you guys do crash, and a lot of you guys do, push it and fly really hard. And I just don't think it's the right frame for that, for flying really hard and for crashing into hard objects. I also, I never really liked the A-arm design from like a crashing through trees standpoint, because the Acrobrat would really get hung up in tree branches a lot, because it's got like this big ass hole for tree branches to go through. I found single arm frames always crashed a lot better. So yeah, I've not had a good experience with the A-arm frame design. I will not doubt for a second that it eliminates vibrations better, but in my opinion and in my experience, the glide frame does a plenty good job of that. Like, I can get my PID tune to a point where, like, and my filters to a point where the glide frame performs beautifully. Is it not quite as good as the AOS 5? Absolutely. But I don't need that extra little bit. Like, that extra little bit doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't make the flight footage look any better. So yeah, it's one with everything, of course, but it's one big balancing act. And the glide frame for me is the best balancing act of all those different things. And I've flown a shitload of different frames. I've probably flown 5 to 10, closer to 10 different 5-inch frames, and God knows how many micro frames. So I have a pretty good idea and understanding of, not just what does the black box log show, but how does the frame build, how does the frame crash, how is the frame to live with, how is it to repair, what does it cost, right? There's a lot more when it comes to frame design than just what the black box log shows. But we're really lucky to have access to the AOS 5, right? Like, it's a really interesting frame. Yeah, more options is better than less, for sure. Ramdago says, I had mount... Oh, wait, no. All right, so I'm gonna put a hold on that. End of mailbag. That doesn't work. It's a manual focus camera. There it is, boys and girls. You beautiful bastards in chat paid for this like 4 months ago. Like 4 months ago, I did one of these things here for an Insta360 Go 2, but then I quickly learned that Insta360's damage protection plan sucks a bag of dicks, so I refused to buy it from Insta360. And then Amazon's not selling it. Well, no, Amazon is selling this, but they don't offer the Assurion damage protection plan. And nobody else that was selling it did. So I had no way of buying this thing with a physical damage protection plan. And I crash micros hard and often. And so not having a physical damage protection plan on a camera that realistically is not going to be anywhere near as durable as a GoPro would just be worthless. Like, I'm not going to, it's your guys' hard-earned money. Like, I take that very seriously. I'm not just going to go pissing that away on one of these without damage protection and then smash the shit out of it, and it's like, oh, now what? So I chose to wait, and last week, Best Buy finally started selling this thing. So I hopped on their website, ordered one up, got the Geek Squad 2-year protection plan, and here it is. Insta360 Go 2. I'm pretty impressed. I'm gonna smash the fuck out. Like, this thing is gonna live for about a week, and then I'm gonna be on my way back to Best Buy. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to. So that Best Buy doesn't sell these in the stores. They only sell it on their website, and then they ship it to your local store. So that's gonna kind of suck a little bit. Once I blow it up, I guess I'm gonna have to bring it into the store, and then they're either gonna send it out for repair, or they're gonna have to order another one to get it in. But who cares? Totally fine. I've got that protection plan. I don't know. I can just tell, like, holding this thing, that it's not gonna stand up to FPV crashes. I love that they put a removable lens on it, which is really, really nice, because I'm sure that this lens is going to be the first thing that I bash the fuck out of. What this also means is that we can get little ND filters that screw on, which is a really big deal. So I'm really excited about this thing. Maybe it won't be super fragile, but it will be. So yeah, the Rip Squeaks are going to have it mounted like this. I haven't actually put this into the mount yet. Oh, it's just like the old one, where when you put it in the mount, every single time it turns on. It's good to know. So this is what it's going to look like in the Rip Squeak mount. Really nice that they've got this extra little piece of TPU to try to protect this lens. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get this thing up in the air. This could be sort of the missing... The RunCam Hybrid is pretty mind-blowing, but this does get a little bit better quality HD. This could be the missing puzzle piece of how to get 5-inch freestyle quality, almost, HD out of a micro. And that's pretty exciting. We've not had anything like that available to us. So this is pretty slick. The little case that it comes with is super cool. It sits right in there like this, and then this thing talks to that. It's got a couple buttons on it here, so you can actually change the settings with the tiny little screen, which is really nice. The one did not have that. You had to do everything via Bluetooth. It's got a little 1/4-20 down here, as well as a little charging port. And it's got these outrageous little fold-away legs, so that when you open it up like this, it'll just stand there. It'll just stand there and look at you. Really, really cool design, man. Insta360 Go, or Insta360 is making some really, really cool shit. And you can, like, run it in, and there's also a battery built into this, so you can sit it up like this and run a time lapse, which will be pretty cool. I can, like, if I'm doing a build off stream, or even on stream, I can set this thing up and just have it do a time lapse of me bipping and bopping, and then I can throw that up onto Instagram or whatever. This is a cool piece of tech. I'm pretty impressed by this. Insta360 is really kind of doing some fun stuff. It comes with a bunch of shit that you're not going to use because you're going to put it on your quad and bash the balls out of it. But it comes with cool stuff. A magnetic pendant thing, so you can stick it here, whatever. You guys know what it comes with. If you don't know what it comes with, it doesn't matter. You're going to put it on your quad, and that's it. But it is a really... I mean, if you're not just going to put it on your quad, it's going to do all kinds of other cool shit. The Insta360 Go's are amazing. Like, to be really honest, they're an amazing little product that you can, like, bring with you in a lot of different places. I worry about, like, losing it. It's magnetic. You can stick it to the refrigerator. You can stick it to your toolbox, which is pretty cool. You guys can't see that, but I stuck it to the toolbox. The whole back of it is magnetic. Yeah, it's real cool. This is really, really cool. I've seen all the reviews. I knew it was going to be cool, but I'm still pretty blown away by this. This is yeah. Way to go, Insta360. Here's what I can't figure out. I can't figure out how to put the damn thing into 4K. Supposedly it'll record 4K at 24 frames a second, maybe 25 frames a second, and supposedly it'll record 2.7K at like something like 50 frames a second, I think, which I would run at 30 frames a second. I can't figure out how to do it. I can only figure out how to put it into 1440 or 1080. So I need to read I need to watch a video or two or read the instructions or something like that. Freelojo says I got a V1 360 Go for 170 from Insta. Nice. I love my V1, specifically for carrying it around on the 65 millimeter tiny whoop with the 25,000 kV motors. Here's a size comparison for anybody that cares. They're way. It's a big difference in size. Like the 2 is way bigger than the 1. They're probably the same length. Nope. The 2 is way long. It's a lot bigger. Lot bigger little bean than the 1. And it's a lot heavier. The 1 is 18 grams. The 2 is 26 grams. So I mean, it's a lot bigger. That's what she said. But, you know, with size comes size. Never mind. So yeah, happy little minion-looking family. And, I don't know. Get whichever one you want. They're both really cool. You can do really cool shit with both of them. That's the wrong camera. Yeah, you can do really cool shit with both of them. Here's the difference in the size of the cases, but not really a fair comparison. This case has nothing. It's just a battery, a little lightning connector on the bottom and a little plug on the side. So this case doesn't really do shit. This case for the 2 is really fancy, really fancy. That it's got all this shit going on. Very cool. So yeah, there's the end of mailbag. It's 422, the weed number. Did I miss any super chats? I did. Dylan Merck says, would you use a 5-inch frame for Cinewhoop in real estate videography? Absolutely not. 5-inch frames, 5-inch builds are going to be way too heavy for any indoor flying, unless it's like a stadium, I guess. Like if you were flying in like a football stadium or some shit like that, you could get away with a 5-inch rig. But anything smaller than a football stadium, a 5-inch rig has no business being in there. My Cinesplore is 460 to 480 grams, depending on the camera it's picking up, depending on the battery that I'm running on it. And yeah, anything heavier than like 500 grams. And if you were to do a 5-inch build and get ducts on it and get it ready, you know, for indoor flying, it's going to be like probably 800 grams all said and done, maybe a little bit less than that, but probably knocking on the door of 800 grams. And that's just going to be unflyable inside. Not unflyable, but you're not going to want to fly that inside. And it's going to be pretty dangerous. Like, you're going to be, like, God forbid you bump into anything inside, you're going to destroy it. If it's a person, you're going to destroy them. But, you know, real estate videography, like, you're flying around in houses that are expensive, that have expensive shit in them. So to have a death machine in there at 800 grams chopping up babies is just no good. No good. But the Cinesplore, whoo, man, that thing is a weapon for doing indoor flying. Let me see if I have on this computer any of the real estate flying that I just did last week. No, I don't. But yeah, the Cinesplore at 400 and change grams is a totally viable thing to fly in real estate stuff. You got to be on your game, and it is definitely challenging. But the alternative is to build, you know, one of these rigs with a naked GoPro, and the naked GoPro thing, I'm still like, it just sucks, man. They're just so fragile. They're like, you got to remember to hit stop or you lose all your footage. Like, there's all these things that makes the naked GoPros kind of a nightmare in any kind of like a professional setting where you've got like a director and or talent that, like, you know, you can't look like an asshole around, or you're never gonna get hired again. So I I'm still having a really hard time wrapping my head around the whole naked GoPro thing. Plus, you know, these directors want like a Hero 9 or very soon here a Hero 10, and like, you know, that's crazy, right? Going out and spending $400 on a GoPro and then tearing it completely apart, hoping that you don't blow anything. Like, I can't afford that, straight up. Like, that's the big thing. I can't afford that. I can't afford to rip apart a $400 Hero 9 and fuck something up. Or I start flying it and I crash it and it blows up. No protection plan is going to cover that. Nothing. You're just assed out, right? You're just assed out of that $400. You got to go back. You got to go spend it again, and that's, yeah. That's I'm in no place to be able to do that. So, but again, luckily the Cinesplorer on 2004 motors with a full fat Hero 8 got the job done in a really tight spot too. It really tight. It was actually a penthouse that I was in up on like the 24th floor. So yeah. Ram Donko says Andy RC does an update video on the 4K settings on the Go 2. All right, very cool. I'll check that out. Thank you, Ram. It Starts says good luck with the Jello Monster CiottiFPV. Mine sucks balls. I have a lot of experience with micros producing Jello. All of the RunCam splits were nasty with Jello. The RunCam hybrid is a little bit better, but it's still very prone to Jello. It's why I build my micros the way that I do, and it's why I'm so nuts about the way that I build my micros, is so that they're ultra smooth, so that they won't produce Jello in HD footage. So, yeah. Dylan Merck says, just saw your Oh My God 3-inch in your video. Very cool, Dylan. Steve-O says, bong it. Jackalope FPV says, what is your Cinesplorer 3-inch? Yes. Do they make a non-3-inch Cinesplorer, Jackalope? Freelojo says, going to fly high in the air. Get it done, Freelojo. Smash some shit for me. Am I caught up? I think I'm caught up. I gotta get a drink of water. I lose my goddamn voice again. All right. It's 4:30. Let's get a little bit of Rip Squeak work done. You guys have had really good questions the past couple of streams. I know that I keep titling these streams like getting the Rip Squeak done, but then you guys ask really good questions, and I'm not left with any Rip Squeak time, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But if anybody's getting cranky about me not finishing it, it's your own goddamn fault. Stop asking such wonderful questions, and I'll be able to get more work done. But I would rather hang out with you guys and answer your questions with my hands full, and to be able to thought, like, when I'm working on this, I don't have the brain space to answer your guys' questions as accurately as I would like. And yeah, I mean, this is me just building for me, right? Like, I feel like this live stream, the value of live streams in general, and this one specifically, is the discussions that we have and answering your guys' questions as accurately as I can. I feel like that's the most value that I bring to the table, not you guys just watching me solder up another set of motors, right? There's hundreds of live streams of me building rigs. So I gravitate towards hanging out with you guys and talking directly to you guys rather than just building another rig or repairing another rig. If I really need to get work done, I'll do it off the stream, where I can just rip through it. And now I'll try to remember to do a fucking, what is the word? Time lapse of it with my fancy new Insta360 Go 2. Skippy FPV is in the house. Just in time for Rip Squeak work, Skippy. So, talked about what to do with the frame, and I decided, whatever, that I am going to move this, even though it's like all damn near ready to go. I am going to move this into a V2, a Rip Squeak V2 frame. While I'm at it, I may as well swap the camera out. So let me do that here really quickly. This camera has a broken lens on it. This one does not. So let's just get this swapped over. I would love to leave this off, but you know, I'm going to leave it off. I was going to say, but I'm going to forget which direction to put it back on. That's stupid. I can just look it up. It's fine. So I'm going to leave this off for the time being. I'm going to put this away because this sensor and body is fine, but the lens is broken. And unfortunately, RunCam, last time I checked, they're not selling just these RunCam hybrid lenses. I think that's because there's really no good way to focus the HD lens, right? Like if I were to remove this HD lens from here, how the fuck do I get the new one focused? There's no live view of the HD. I would have to record with it, look at the recording, twist the lens, record again, look at the recording, twist the lens, record again. It would just be an absolute nightmare. So I guess that's why they don't sell the lenses separately. There's no way to look at a live feed of the HD that I'm aware of with the RunCam hybrid. So let's get this stack off of this base plate. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to take the whole goddamn stack apart, of course. But that's okay. Let's get it going. I also need to... No, it's good to go. Never mind. I could have just swapped the Crossfire Nano here, but now I'm second guessing it. Should I just leave this in this frame? Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of work to take this out of this frame. Because of the way that I've built this stack. Jackalope says, which GoPro are you putting on your Cinesplorer? Hero 8. Jackalope also says, I'm not sure about Cinesplorer sizes, was just asking. Gotcha. Yeah, 3-inch. Cinesplorer is only made in 3-inch. You're certainly welcome, Dylan. And I'm caught up. I'm going to leave this in this frame. Because I want to have... the new frame is not necessarily going to perform any better, I don't think. And I would like to have a... I already have one of these things in the new frame. And I would love to have a comparison point. So I'm going to leave this. It's no less or more work to pull this thing apart and swap the... Like, if the V2 frame does fly better, I'm not doing any less or... I don't know. I don't want to change this frame. You know what it is? At some point, I'll break something in this stack, and at that point, I'll have to pull it apart, and that's when I'll change it over to the frame. But right now, there's nothing broken on this, so I'm not going to change it. Know what I'm saying? Man, is that close? Good God. RunCam put components so close to the mounting holes. You got to really be careful. It's the only thing you got to remember with these RunCam hybrids is you got to be really careful when you're mounting stuff. Why do I have a fucking dipole antenna on here? What Mickey Mouse shit is this? What kind of Mickey Mouse shit was I doing with this build? Let's get this out of here. This is ridiculous. These dipoles suck. Come on, get out of here. Alright, so that makes this a little bit less work. That's nice. I was really not looking forward to ripping this all the way apart and swapping the frame. This makes me feel a lot better. Alright, V2 frame, you're just gonna wait. You're gonna wait patiently for when I blow something up on this. Antenna. Ooh, can I use one of these? Nope. Nope. Antenna. Let's get a antenna on this bitch. Where did that, there it is. It's still attached. Not making fun of Nick Burns. I'm celebrating Nick Burns' pronunciation of antenna, for the record. Antenna. I love that guy. One of my favorites for sure. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna use one of these guys with the skinny UFL. Got a whole bunch of these TrueRC OCP antennas on clearance, really cheap. They were blems. Well, I don't see why they're blems. Maybe there's a little mark here, but I don't know. Okay. So I'm gonna mount this. Yeah, no, I need it. I need the antenna to go downwards. So let's get a little bit of shrink wrap on here. Shrimp wrap on here. Pardon me. Sorry, I mispronounced it. For anybody that doesn't know the backstory, it's you know, in America we bastardized it to be called shrink wrap, but it's actually called shrimp wrap from the 18th century in Asia. They never mind. It's gonna be a stupid dad joke. I just call it shrimp wrap because it's fun. Alright, let's get some shrimp wrap on here. And, yo, one of you motherfuckers should make a, you should, like, make a correction to the Wikipedia page for shrink wrap. And, and call it shrimp wrap and, like, make up, like what I've been doing. Oh my god, I would shit my pants if one of you guys did that. And then I could reference Wikipedia. Although nobody's ever challenged me on it. Anytime I've ever gone on a shrimp wrap rant, yeah, nobody's ever like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Everybody you guys all just seem to play along. Or maybe you guys are just like, this guy's a fucking moron. I don't know what's actually happening, but regardless, it's fine. I'm fine with it either way. I like to think, though, that you guys are laughing. In my mind, you are, at least. Alright, so that's good to go. So the big pain in the ass here is going to be, I had this set up for an RXSR, and then I hastily cut the connector off like a complete lunatic. So now I need to, because I'm going to put a Crossfire Nano in it, so I need to get that, ouch, going here. So I'm going to strip the ends of these wires. God damn it. I didn't make the noise. I got screwed. Hey! There we go. Got to make the noise. Whenever you're stripping wires with your fingernails, remember, you got to make the noise. Otherwise, you won't push your fingernails hard enough into it, and you'll just pull on the silicone. So just make sure you make at least a little noise. Like this. Ready? Hey! Just it doesn't have to be, you don't have to scream. Just a little noise. It's kind of like Andre Agassi, right? It was why he was so good. Andre Agassi was so good because he fucking screamed his head off every single time he hit that tennis ball. And that made all the difference. Stripping wires is the same thing. Be like Andre Agassi and make noises. Oh, see? See? I was distracted on that one. I think that does one of the Williams sisters, Serena, or I forget the other one's name. I think one of the Williams sisters also makes a noise. Something kind of unique about tennis is there's like a bunch of people that fucking scream every time they do the thing. Imagine all sports. Imagine if like all sports, like imagine golf. Imagine how much more interesting golf would be if every single time anyone hit the ball, they fucking screamed as loud as they could. Oh, I would actually... I wouldn't hate golf as much if that were the case. You know what I mean? Oh, fuck. I forgot to turn on the soldering iron. Expander's in the house. Brandon's Baked Beans says, so you just need to shrimp right over that VTX. So you just shrimp right over that VTX. What micro VTX antenna do you prefer? Everything True RC. And then usually on the little tiny builds, I'll run the axes, but I don't have an extra one. On my glide builds, I run these OCP True RC antennas because they're a little bit bigger and they're a little bit more durable. The fact that they're bigger, the tolerances aren't as tight, so they take abuse better. The fact that they're bigger is a one-to-one with the fact that they're more durable. That was explained to me by Hugo. Actually, the guy of True RC. So yeah. Soldering iron is up to temperature. Let's tin these wires, and then we will bust open the Crossfire Nano package, and then you guys can bust over my package. Bust open my package. Not true. Only one of you in the audience right now can bust open my package. Hey-o! 8-year-olds, dude. 8-year-olds. So one of the questions here that I wish I'd answered before hastily cutting the RXSR connector off is what the hell green and yellow are. I don't know if the green wire is the TX or the RX. Luckily, 99% of the time, I get I wire the Crossfire TX and RX backwards. So at this point in my life, I just wire it up, and if it doesn't work, I reverse it. But, I mean, that's such a dumb idea to do it that way. So let me just at least really quickly, I'm going to really quickly take a look at the flight controller to see if there's any chance of me figuring out where the hell the green wire is going versus the yellow wire. So the yellow wire is soldered right back here, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really tempted to just go for the 50-50. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, where's that little RXSR connector? I can just look on. Oh, I put it back into the R. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, no, I got this. I can just look at this. Okay, green. Okay, so green is S-bus. Green is S-bus, right? Green is S-bus. Let's see. RXSR wiring. Images. Okay. So ground, smart port, S-bus. Yep, so green is S-bus. So if green is S-bus, then that is input. So green is input. Need more input. So then that means Crossfire Nano wiring. So green is input, so we want green on output of the Crossfire Nano. And I'm not going to use Oscar Liang's picture anymore because I feel like his picture is backwards. I feel like his picture is wrong. Green is output. All right, perfect. Crossfire Nano. Oh, God damn it. It just says channel 1 and channel 2. God, you're so fucking annoying. Oh, but no, we got it. Okay, so I'm going to use this image from Reddit this time. So T2, which is transmit on the flight controller. Okay, so green needs to go to the second pad. So yellow needs to go to the outside pad. That's what I need to know. Yellow needs to go to the outside pad of the Crossfire Nano. That's all I wanted to know. Okay, yellow on the outside. All set. And let's get this out here. Cable set. Here we go. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to fucking scrape this. TBS, please, for fuck's sake, stop using this goddamn liquid electric tape. Ugh, yeah, and it's not, it never peels off properly. Oh my god, oh my god. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Sorry for anybody watching on like a television. No, I'm not. That shit was funny. You know it. You know you were laughing inside. Oh, I hate it. Oh, that came off. A nice big chunk came off that time. There's a first. First time for everything. And just one more little chunk here. A little chunky boy. Come on, chunky boy, get out of there. Come on, you fucking chonk monster. What did I say? Yellow on the outside, right? Yeah, yellow on the outside. Yellow on the outside. Wow, this one wasn't actually that bad. The one that I did last week was really nasty. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to put the yellow on the outside like right away. And it's on the opposite side from... Okay, so it's on that. So it's that. So yellow there. Which way do I want to mount? I'm going to mount this like this. So yellow is going to come through like that. Ooh, yeah. Alright, so let me just do this real quick so that I don't forget. Alright. It's kind of a janky way of doing this, but it works if you're good at soldering. Take my word for it. Send the tip, bring this in at a bit of an angle, and then push the solder into the through hole. And there we go. Cool. I might as well do the rest. What the hell? So then we're going to go green. Okay. Get in there, you little asshole. Get in there. Come on. Come on, you jerk. It's too fat. It's too big, guys. It won't go in. I have that problem all the fucking time. All the time. It's such a pain in the ass. Not many return customers. It's actually a quote from Brockmeyer. Alright, come on, get up in there. Get. Stop that! Come on. Yeah, there we go. If you guys have Hulu and you're not watching Brockmire, you're dumb. Start watching it. It's really good. It's really fucking funny. There we go. That's gonna work. Okay. And it took me forever, so I am gonna clean the tip. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna send it at an angle, apply heat, add solder. Yeah. Okay, and then what do we need? Then we're going with voltage. All right. Perfect. Not gonna clean the tip because I was quick enough. The important thing when using these through holes is to give it enough time because you want to make sure the whole through hole gets hot and just push the solder into the, like if this is the through hole, you want to be like pushing the solder diagonally in towards, you've got the wire sticking up out of here, right? But as long as you spend enough time on there, the whole through hole is going to get nice and hot and the solder travels towards the heat. So when you start pushing the solder in at a 45-degree angle, it's going to flow into that through hole, and you're going to get a really, really strong solder connection in there. I really like using these through holes in some situations, not all, but in some situations I really like to use these through holes. A little too much solder on this one. There we go. That's better. No, it's not. I made it worse. I didn't make it worse. I just didn't make it better. There we go. Okay. Now it's skinny enough to go in. Just ask my ex-wife. All right, here we go, boys. Last one, and then I think I'm gonna wrap. No, we're good. 4:53. I thought it was later than this. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit more work on this. I'm gonna wrap this at 5 o'clock though, because I think I'm gonna take a little nap. Didn't get much sleep last night, but that in no way, shape, or form is a complaint, if you know what I mean. All right, so we got a little bit more shrimp wrap here that we don't need to use. The Crossfire Nano is wired up. Take a quick look at the back of the pads. Looks good. And I got to get out one of those little mini Mortal T's, which is back behind me, so I'll do that later. RXSR over there. Let me get caught up on chat. Pile of Carbon is in the house. He says, imagine curling, Chuck Stone, broom sweeping and loud grunting. Loud grunting improves everything. Am I right, guys? Am I right, guys? Right? You know, like during sex. Espander says, hey. Brandon's Baked Bean says, so you just shrimp right over that VTX. I do. I forgot to answer that. Yes, I shrimp wrap right over the VTXs. You would think that would make them get too hot, but it really doesn't seem to. I don't really have issues with the VTXs getting too hot. I shrimp over them. I shrimp wrap over them so that like they're sort of, you know, waterproof or whatever. They're not really waterproof, but like I don't want the open, you know, like metal to touch other things that are metal or carbon or whatever. So yeah, I've shrimp wrapped right over top of my VTXs for 3+ years, and I've never really had any issues from it. Pile of carbon. We got that. Brandon's Baked Beans says, I use Real ACC UX2, which is a shameless clone of the True RC, but I damaged it and it's messing my signal up on fast moves. Yeah, I like the True RC stuff. I do want to try the TBS. The TBS. I actually have it on the one rig with the AM32 ESC. The TBS antenna, UFL antenna. See if it's any more durable. Gary Higgins says, "Come on, CiottiFPV, LOL." I guess that's when I was. I don't know. P. Richard Scott says you'll still fuck it up. Yeah, probably. Well, actually, hold on. Yellow. Let me see. Let me look at Oscar's picture to see if it really is fucked up. So this is the picture that I always used to go off of. That I think is fucked up. So transmit from the flight controller is on the outside one. And this other one, transmit on the flight controller, is it? Oh, this is the same. Is that the picture I used though? No, I used this picture. Transmit goes to the outs. Transmit goes to the outside in this picture. Whereas in this, transmit. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, we're good. We're good. So what that means is that I've just fucked it up in the past, which is the least surprising thing ever. So, yeah. Happens. The only way you learn anything is by fucking up. You learn nothing by getting anything right. And when it comes to building quads, learning shit is all but impossible. So don't even bother. Don't even try. You're just gonna let yourself down. Just understand that you're always gonna fuck everything up forever. Top tips. CiottiFPV. Vern Kelky says, hiya. Thanks for Tracker Man. Just seen it. Hope we're good. Awesome. Remy Tim is in the house. What's up, Dan? He says, you just need to remember that it's negative, positive signal telemetry. Yes. Is there like a fucking acronym we can make? N for negative, P for positive, NPST. NPST. Nipple suck tit. There it is. Nipple suck tit. That's our acronym. And then think through logically that signal would be transmitting data to the flight controller. Telemetry receives data from the flight controller. I'll always just type it into Google Images, though, to be honest. I'm really happy that that Oscar Liang's picture that I've always used is not wrong. I'm totally fine with that meaning that I'm the moron that's fucked it up in the past, but that's okay. Paul McDonald says you should get bigger shoes. Never. I like them tight. I'm gonna get in trouble one of these days. Joni Droid says not all grunting is good grunting. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Michael Blade FPV says, hey bud, better late than never. Glad you made it, Michael. That was a pretty good stream. You should rewatch this one. Frank Nicholas says, look at the Oscar Liang photo in context, not just the picture. There are different versions of that transmitter with different pinouts. Sorry, Crossfire Nano RX, not VTX. Yeah, that's why I realized that a while back, and that's why I thought that his picture was wrong. But I don't think the pads moved. I think isn't the difference that the power changed from a square to a circle? I forget what the hell it was. Let's see. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, I know he talks about there's two different versions of the Crossfire Nano. I don't remember if the pads moved or if the pads just changed. Something changed. Does he not have a... Does he not have two pictures? Crossfire Nano. Let's just do a word find for Nano. Smaller diversity nano. I gotta get one of those diversity nanos at some point. Nano case. Oh, here we go. Double check if out. No, not output map. I mean, technically speaking, you can just change the TX and the RX, I think, on those signal pads in the Lua script. So. Not actually that big of a deal. Oh, here we go. Hey. Picture indicating the wire is backwards. Square pad is negative, not the one opposite of it. I hope it didn't fry my Nano. No, it's correct. They changed the shape of the pad. Wiring is still the same. There it is. Yeah, I thought so. Just look at the names next to the pads. Yeah, they changed the shape of the pad. That's right. I think it's the negative pad that went from circular to square. Pretty sure. It looks like P. Richard Scott is backing me up on that. Cool. Dylan Merck says, never punch soft titties. That one works too. Kelky says, never put signal thirst. Remy Tim says, in electronics, ground is often square. In the first batch of nanos, they accidentally put the square on the wrong side. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. Now I remember. Good call, Remy Tim. Yeah, they put the square where the whatever the fuck it is, the R1, the RX or the TX. But yeah, that's right. The square was on the complete opposite side. That was the issue. Good call, Dan. The fucking collective at work, yo. This is not the Oscar Liang. There is an Oscar Liang article that talks about that. Let's see if we can find it real quick, like here. Let's go to his main page. He should have a little search. Yeah. Let's search for Crossfire Nano. Pretty sure he's got an article somewhere on his site that talks about it. Oh, balls. This is going to be hard to find. Maybe it's in Google Images. Let's see. I could have sworn that there was... Hey, there it is. Oh, it's on Team Black Sheep's... thing. Yep, there it is. Square on top versus square on bottom. Yeah, but the pads do the same shit. Yeah, cool. Good little refresher. It's been a while since I dug into that weirdness. Oh yeah, there. Look at that on HyperQuads. TX input is a square pad, so this is the old Crossfire Nano. Square pad for TX input. Very cool. Look at us figuring shit out. Figuring out the... I mean, this is... You know, this is the other reason why buying a bind and fly rig is just the silliest idea ever. It's not the silliest idea ever. But it's just... Because, like, you know, you buy a bind and fly rig and it comes with an old Crossfire Nano. And... you know, you take it apart and you're like, oh no, the square pad is definitely the ground, and then you put ground on that pad and you fry the damn thing. So, oh, Kelky, that's the one. Never put signal on telemetry. There it is. Yeah, never put signal on telemetry. Nice. Cool. Hey, it's 5:04. We did something. I mean, we did something over there. My voice is kind of starting to go a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna bail. Sorry, guys. You know I love you, but I'm gonna preserve my voice. I need my voice to work again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern time for... Is it a giveaway stream? I think it's a giveaway stream tomorrow night. So yeah, we'll do giveaways. We'll like solder, you know, 2 more wires on this so that the never-ending Rip Squeak build really never ends. Yeah, hang out some more. All right, boys. Thanks for hanging out, and potentially, lady. You're certainly welcome for the stream, Dylan. Thanks for joining me. CiottiFPV.com if you want to support me so that I can keep on doing this. Quav is here. Quav, do me a favor. Don't be insane in these streams. This is my livelihood. If you lunatics want to come into the driving video game streams, you can be as nuts as you want. But just behave in here if you don't mind. Thanks for hanging, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. It hasn't been real fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern for giveaways, for God knows what else. And yeah, go flying, or else I'll hit you with a hammer. Here's some of me flying back from 2019 under the bridge with the hookers. Not with the hookers. Bridge Jams 2019. Here we go. Enjoy. I'll put on some Epidemic sounds and it'll be great. Love you guys. Be good. CiottiFPV.com, or else I'll beat you with a stick. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is apparently a GoPro with a blown up microphone. Let me get Epidemic sound up so that your guys' ears don't catch on fire. Epidemic sound, please work. There it goes. No, I'm not playing that. Like, whoa. Hopefully it's not terrible. Oh, it's terrible. Go on to the next. Another Sunday. Oh, this will work. All right, boys. Thanks for hanging out. Love you. Here comes some flying. Let's go back a little bit here. And see you guys tomorrow night. Bye-bye.